good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever. From the Sweet Oak Model Garden, I want to share with you some things about what to grow in April. And I also wanted to show you what I'm growing right now in my garden during the month of April and so on. And first, I just want to start off by showing you my big, enormous group of seeds. Let's just look at all the seeds that I have right now and all the seeds that I am at some point during this spring to summer to this fall season, I'm going to either plant or get at least some of these vegetables in the ground. I just love seeds so much. I just get an abundance of them. I like to grow things in a variety, and that's just how I like to do it. And honestly, you can get seeds from anywhere. I'm a little bit obsessed. So, you know, I find seeds in everywhere, dollar store, wherever have you, Amazon, Etsy, a whole nine. If there's something exotic or something new that I want to grow, I just go on to those and I look for it. And I found some really, really good ones. And I usually never really have problems with the seed. Sometimes things don't grow always when I want them to grow, but they do end up growing. So you have some beets right there. Definitely gonna plant some more of them. We got some cucumbers. We got some contender beans, bush beans. I got Blue Lake bush beans. I have all kinds of stuff. And I just wanted to share that with you. And I'm gonna take you on a little tour to see what we're growing right now, what you could be growing right now in the month of April. Now that we're out of any danger of frost in zone 8, now is the time to really get some heavy stuff in the ground and make sure that we're taking care of our gardens really well. Let's start with the long bed that I've created, that you guys saw me create, the no-dig bed. In this side of the bed, this is the left-hand side, I am growing mixed greens, green beans, lettuce. There's some of the green beans right here, some radishes. The radishes are right here, and those are starting to come on and look pretty. I should have moved them away from each other slightly, but I didn't, so they're just kind of gonna grow the way they are, and I'll plant some more. I planted some more right behind them. Doing a little succession planting, where once you plant a bunch, you go behind it in the next 2 weeks and you plant some more, so that way you never run out and you keep replenishing. And that's something we do a lot here in the garden. These are the apple trees. They're coming back to life. These are the figs. They're coming back to life and looking really, really pretty. The mixed greens down here, you can see them. They're starting to come up and play peekaboo. I'm gonna plant some more stuff going up and down here. I decided mainly in the long bed that I'm gonna do a lot of beans. A lot of black-eyed peas, a lot of contender beans, stuff like that. A lot of the okra. Those ones that they look really, really, really pretty. This is my container garden area. This is where I have most of my things growing in containers. Over here, I have tomatoes growing in containers, and I will talk about doing the container gardens, the importance of doing those and moving stuff around. These are my carrots, and they're coming along looking really, really pretty now. So I'm super, super proud of them. The garlic It's out here thriving. It's super huge right now. Some lemon balm, more tomatoes all going through all these containers. Different types of tomatoes. I love to grow a lot of different types. Sweet potatoes over there. And down in here, see, I have some garlic right here. And then I decided to grow some black eyed peas down in there, some cowpeas. So they're growing down in here. I try not to put them too close to the garlic because they don't really get along together in a garden bed. But I decided to chance it anyway because I didn't want to waste my space. So I put those in here anyway. Right here we're looking at the onions, red onions, and I had a cabbage and Brussels sprouts. I have some oregano, Greek and Mexican oregano. I have most of my herbs up front. Most of my herbs I try to plant up front to keep them closer to the kitchen. I would like to put my herbs closer to where I'm going to use them mainly, so that way I don't forget and then go buy a whole slew of other herbs that I don't need, especially the dried herbs, when I can have some fresh right here at home and I don't have to go buy anymore. So that's the point of doing that. In this bed here, I put some tomato seeds down in here, and I see some just growing, popped up right here in the middle. See, I only see the first ones just come up. Hopefully the other ones will start popping out of here soon. And in this little bed here, I'm gonna put some more things in here. Maybe some melons or some more tomatoes in this bed here to grow alongside the peppers, because those get along well. I'm gonna maybe do the peppers and tomatoes together. Those things get along really well. In this bed, I haven't planted this side of the long bed. I have not planted in, but way down there, I planted lots of peas. Like I said, I'm gonna go through all of this area and plant some more beans along here because they'll look really pretty through the gate for my neighbors, so they just won't think I'm just having a big yucky yard going on here. I'm doing a lot of landscaping. See, with the mulch, I got a mountain of mulch. Now it's the time to get your strawberries out. Got my strawberries. I had to dig them out of the ground. I had a big patch over there in this area over here, but they weren't growing. I mean, they were growing fine, but because it's so heavily weeded, and I got to get rid of the weeds over here, so I wanted to move them to a better area so they can spur out a little bit more. Okay, let's take a look at this long bed here. This is a long 8x4 feet bed, and look, I'm growing some broccoli. It's so pretty. Little broccoli heads are coming up. I have Brussels sprouts in here. Lots of peas. The peas are coming up. Look at the peas. I love the peas. You can snap these right off. You don't have to wait till you go in the house and nothing. I started another little bed here. Easy peasy. I started another little bed here. I laid down some cardboard. I wet it up good, and then I framed it around it with these cedar blocks. And inside, I'm just gonna throw my soil mix, and I'm gonna build another little bed for some more vegetables. Maybe some squash in here. They'll be easy to trellis up through the cedar blocks and whatnot. So I think I'm gonna put some squash in this bed right here. I'm gonna show you some more of these peas. These are the mustard greens. They're going to seed right now, but you can still get a lot of little leaves off of them and eat them up. So that's what we're doing. You know, I'm just waiting till they'll finally die off and dry out on their own, so that way I can get the seeds from them So that way I don't have to go get any more mustard green seeds. Look at these right here. These are so yummy. I'm gonna pluck some off. Uh-oh. Squeeze that off right there. Look at that. The pea inside them are looking yummy. That's delicious. Let me tell you, I don't even like peas like that. But when they're on my own garden, it's sweeter. It's so good. See? I planted cow peas going down here. Some are already starting to come out. I'm going to plant the rest of it full of peas. I'm going to plant them all on top of each other, all around each other like that. The reason being is because this is a lot of space, and that's what I put it here for. To maximize the space so you can grow lots and lots of beans. So I just planted some rows of them, and I'm getting ready to plant some more. So that way I won't, we won't run out. And here I have some squash growing. And this is the cucumber. This is the crookneck squash bed right here. I'm trying to keep it so that I can keep the animals out. So I put some wire fencing around it, over top it, and a cloth. Because I have rabbits everywhere. I saw a whole bunch of them yesterday night, waiting for me to leave the garden so they can come through here.
That's that Scooey Wabbit. Oh well.
And this big old bed right here, this is an 8x4. I planted lots and lots of okra. It's full of okra that should be sprouting soon. And then I'll weed around them. But we should have lots of okra coming around. And these little beds right here, we have celery. I have some kale that is going to seed. I'm just going to let them do their thing because usually if I cut them down, they're continuing to grow back. And I'll get to pruning those sometime over the weekend. I have more garlic in here. Growing garlic in abundance because we eat lots of garlic. And why go to the store and get some? If you could grow this much by yourself, no need to do it. I have beans growing in here. Lots of sweet bush lake, blue lake beans, and contender beans. Here is some more celery. The curly, not celery. What am I trying to say? The kale, the curly kale stays a lot longer than the flat kale. So the curly kale and the dragon kale do not bolt as much. You can usually have those from season to season. The kale and cilantro, you see the cilantro? Soon the cilantro, after it finishes bolting, it'll turn into, you'll get those coriander seeds. And you can dry those out, put those in your jar, and there's your coriander. Here's onions I have growing. Well, these are chives. This is what they look like when they're so nice and pretty. They start flowering. But the chives have been here for 3-4 years, and they have not moved, and they have not needed one thing. No matter what season they are, they still keep growing right here and have never run out. In these beds right here, I have not planted anything yet. I'm going to soon start putting things in here. And here I have some kale. I have peas growing. You can get your peas in Make sure you fertilize them really, really well with some natural fertilizer. I use some bone meal and some worm casting. That's pretty much what I fertilize my entire garden with. And then some excess other vegetable scraps I put underneath the beds when I'm planting them. That's what I put underneath them to keep everything growing nicely, to make sure they're well fed. I incorporate the bone meal and worm casting into the soil with my tomatoes when I'm starting them out. Please save your eggshells and your other kitchen scraps, everything except for meat, and no dairy, no meat products or nothing, no animal products. But for the most part, everything else, all your vegetable scraps and everything, let those things get yucky. You can even put them at the bottom of your bed when you're building your beds. Put them at the bottom underneath the compost, and they'll break down over time, just like your cardboard would or anything else would. I usually do that. And I normally put a lot of eggshells. See if you can see. If you can see right here in this bed, this already has eggshells surrounding the tomatoes. And that's how you keep the rodents off the tomatoes. All the bugs and stuff from wanting to get in there. And also you're feeding, as the eggshells break down, they're giving your soil a nice dose of calcium. So that bone meal and that worm casting constantly will feed your soil with the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium and magnesium and stuff like that it needs, so that your soil will stay healthy enough to be able to feed these tomatoes. Tomatoes need lots and lots of nitrogen. If you want them to grow well and luscious and beautiful, you're going to have to make sure you maximize the amount of nitrogen they get to them. These are the strawberries that I plucked out. As you can see, some of them actually have strawberries growing on them. Look at that one. That's a big one. I got to hurry up and put this in the ground somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to have to create a space to hang the strawberries. Maybe I should put it in a grow bag, or maybe I should put it in a planting bucket. And the strawberries need not so much compact soil. They need pretty good soil. See, but this soil is not, this soil is regular. Look at this. This is not as dark as the ones in other beds. And they'll still grow just fine. Look at that. Look at that. It's already a strawberry on here. And they don't need that much. They need lots of sun, but at the same time, they shade each other with with their leaves, so they don't get too hot. They love the cool right now, so that's why we're getting a lot of them growing. So I'm just going to change the spot that I have them in. Oh, let me show you where I'm growing my long beans. My long beans will be here like they were last year to grow up the tall bamboo structures. And you can see them starting to come up. Let me show you. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? They're starting to come up out of there. I'm so excited about what we have growing on here. Lots and lots of peppers. Starting to get your peppers out now, so they can take full advantage of all this sun. And it's not too hot, even though the peppers love the heat. By the time the heat comes around, they'll start growing like monsters. But if you get them good and established in the soil now, feed the soil like it's supposed to be, by the time the heat comes in good, really, really good, you'll get an abundance of pepper. So make sure that when you're putting them in the ground, that you're feeding them. A little thing I do with misting of my vegetables, I have my banana water. There's lots of different ways people do this at their houses and such. But for me, at my house, I grab the bananas. They get a little fermented. I put them in bags or whatever have you. Or sometimes I'll stick them out here in my buckets for my rainwater. And as they get rained on and they sit out there, stinking a little bit, I can take that banana water and water underneath my vegetables and give them the extra boost of vitamins that they need to keep growing. That's all it is to it. Some natural fertilizing. And that's for another video. I'll show you my next video. I'll be talking about the container gardening aspect of using small carry around to make containers, and that should be fun. So stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you for joining me at the Sweet Oak Model Garden today. I hope this has been informative. Is that formative or informational? Probably informative. I don't know what I'm saying, but God bless me. But as more things are going on in the garden, I will show you more and we can have an exciting time. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you can see when I'm coming on. Thank you. Bye-bye.